Hey guys, welcome to my channel and welcome to the stream and another chapter. Another chapter working on that guy right there, which happens to be this guy right here. That's our Ferrari F50, 1/24th scale model by Tamiya. We'll run the intro. We'll see what's next. Okay guys, we're back and we're going to continue on this. As you can see, she's almost complete. No, I'm kidding. I just did a little mock fit test and just seeing how it was going to fit together and stuff like that. So don't panic. Don't panic. We're not done. We're not almost done. I still got stuff to do. We're going to do a little more painting today. Okay. So let's, I'll change the camera and I'll take this apart and we'll have a look at what I need to do today. Okay. So this is kind of just what we're looking at now as it's sitting in here. I need to pull this apart now that I've kind of test fit to see how it's all going to go. We're going to pull this apart very carefully, just like that. There's our seats and our front suspension. That's all done. Yay. Put those aside. And we have our engine assembly here, which has to come out in a very special way. Unlike any other thing I've ever put together, this comes out in a really, really special way. And it's a little finicky and a little tight in trying to get it in there. It does go, but it's kind of like you do have to kind of convince it a little bit to come out. There we go. Good thing plastic bends, right? And then kind of wiggle this around, get that out, and do that. And then the engine's out, just like that. Wonder if they do that at the Ferrari plant. Flip the engine around to get it in. I highly doubt that, but there's our engine. Okay, you guys have seen that many times already. So we have our body. Last time we got this all polished up and she's all nice and shiny white. But now, of course, we have to deal with all of our white overspray that's under in the engine compartment. So that's going to require repainting all that black, including a little bit on the sides here that's going to be visible when you do look down in there and you look at this car at a certain angle. You are going to see that fender well sticking out there where you can see my finger in the hole there. So obviously that needs to be black. So I need to do a little bit of masking. I want to protect this from overspray. I have noticed on looking at pictures online, you see we got that little bit of a lip, that little lip that goes along here and kind of comes up here. That is supposed to be black. And this section is supposed to be black also. So I'm going to have to mask that off so that I can paint this. And I'll paint this along with everything else black, nice flat black, just like it's supposed to be. And yeah, so I'm going to change my glasses and let's get doing some masking. So what I'll do, I'm not going to force you guys to watch me mask this thing off. So we're going to get this masked off and we'll come back when it's all finished. All right. All right.
1 hour later.
Okay, guys, we're back. We're back. And yeah, we're back. I have a masked off body, so I don't get no overspray anywhere. Hopefully on our nice white paint. So we need to redo our flat black. Now, I actually found out that my little side scoops that go on the insides here, the glue hadn't really stuck very hard, so I was actually able to just kind of wiggle them and pop them out. So I don't have to worry about getting overspray on my little side scoops. So those can just go sit over here and be very happy, sitting there waiting to go back in when that time comes. Once again, we're using Mr. Surfacer 1500 Black. I am going to be doing the spray painting right over my desk here, so we're going to do that. I'll lay down a little paper towel here. Nice dirty sheet here. We'll use this one so that I don't get no overspray on my desk. We're gonna get my little airbrush ready here. Put some paint in there. Oh, I guess I should do this. My Mr. Surfacer 1500, that jar is almost empty. I'm gonna have to grab one of my spares pretty soon. You know, for a while there, Mr. Hobby is becoming quite difficult to get here in the Canadas. But of course, in Korea and in Asian countries, it's easy to find. Okay, so let's change the camera so you can see what I'm doing, and we'll get this thing painted some black on here. There we go. Just do a little test fit back here behind me on my table. There we go. All right, so I want to make sure I go against the paint here. I want to go this way and not this way with my paint. Get that paint nice and black. Also across here. Now as I get to here, I got to be mindful of my direction. Turn this baby around. Okay, so I'm going to go kind of this angle down on it. Actually, I think I'm going to go from underneath here. Certain angles you just can't get at really. airbrush down for a sec. I need to wipe that. That is actually a little bit of the polishing compound I used. Kind of dried on there. There we go. That's looking much nicer. Now we got to take care of our inner wheel wells. Okay, that is about it. Okay, so we got this all painted. So what I got to do is I got to clean up my airbrush. I'll spend a few minutes doing that. And then, well, I'll come back when it's all done, okay?
Later.
Okay, so as my airbrush is hissing in the background there, we're going to remove the tape and see how much or how little overspray I got on the body, okay? Let's start with our front pieces here. I do love me some Tamiya tape for their You know, the fact that you almost have to try to make paint bleed underneath of it. It's just, you know, as a kid, teenager, building models, I always struggled with masking tape and getting clean lines from masking tape. I used to always get so much bleed through from hardware store masking tapes. Now I've got this Tamiya stuff and I feel spoiled because it's just nice and crisp lines. It's really, really, it is the tape to use. It's beautiful. I didn't quite mask this one properly. This was the one that was threatening to kind of break the tip off too. So I'll touch that up, but I'll touch that up, but I'll do it with a brush. Okay, so there we have it. We've got our black contrasted against our white, just like it's supposed to be. Just like that. So now looking at our instructions, we can put our little side vents back in, and they want us to put the windshield in. I'm not ready for that though, because we've got to put decals on our fender wells right in there. We've got to do those carbon fiber decals in there. But first, let's get our little vents put back in. So you guys didn't see what it is, but you got these two little tabs. That means that's the top, okay? And they're going to go in on this little notch that's right in here, inside there, right kind of where my finger's pointing. So that's going to go there like that, or on the floor. Preferably not on the floor, but in where it needs to go. So you can kind of line it up on the front of the hole there, like that, and there we go. And that's where it lines up, just like that. Okay. So just kind of hold it like that with my thumb. I'll get my glue. Glue it in from inside here. There isn't a whole lot of contact points on here, and that's why I didn't glue that strong for me before. Just going to grab it, hold it from a different angle so that I can get my brush in there on this tip, like that, get glue all the way along that line, and there we go. And now she's in, just like that. That's one side. Okay, now do the same with this one. Get it lined up on there. There we go. Okay, hold that like this. and along the bottom, on the edge in the front there. Finally, at the top edge here. There we go. And that side's in, just like that. All right. So our two little vents are in there. But now we got to do I got to do the decals for here. Now I could wait and do them later, and I could put in our radiator, our air conditioner, and our oil coolers. I could put in our windshield and our dash, but I want to get the decals in, and I want to get them down and get them done, because you know it's these carbon fiber decals that to me it puts in the kit, and they are of course insanely brown, and yeah, so we need to deal with that. And it might look really silly once it's in there. It might look fine because I've seen a lot of photos online, and you definitely can see on the inner fender wells, that's a brownish colored carbon fiber. And the fact that they have black carbon fiber out there, I don't know why Ferrari went with this brownish color. I can't talk to Enzo, so I can't ask him. But I'm going to get some water in a little dish, and we'll get to starting these decals, okay? So give me a minute, I'll be right back. Okay, so got a little bit of water, I got a blurry camera, and yeah. And I got my decals. I need a sip of my Pepsi. I need scissors. Okay, so this side, which is passenger side, we need decals number 11 and 5. So here's 11, upside down. 11 and 5 over here. Why did they do that to me? So there's number 11. Why do they do this? Why do they do the opposite sides? Like that. I do not know why they do that. I threw down number 5. I need number 5. Okay. So, excuse me. Number 11, which is our big one, she's going to drape over the top of our fender well. And number 5 is going to go on the inside of the fender well. I did say it's passenger side, so it's going to go in like this. And this is going to go on. Now, they don't really, it looks like they're telling me to put number 5 on first and then number 11. It's kind of what it looks like. I don't know for sure. I'm going to see if there's a note on here. If there's a note that I could read. There is no note saying to do either one first. So let's put number 5 on first. Number 5, the one that's on the side. And then we'll do number 11 wrapping over top of number 5. Sounds reasonable, right? Seems reasonable. We'll get this side done first, and then I'll do the other side off camera. So we'll do one side just so you can see how difficult it is, or how easy it is for me to do. And then you'll have an idea. These decals are You know, this is a slightly older kit, so the decals do take a little bit of time to work and to get ready. And of course, I like to use my Mark Fit Super Strong on all my decals to get them to really suck down really nicely. I like to do that all the time, every build I do. There we go. Okay. So what I like to do, I like to get the part wet when I put it on there. And that helps when I slide the decal off, it's going onto a wet part, and therefore it slides around a little easier. So I like it to be wet. So I just dip my finger in the water and make this piece wet. Do that. Especially with it being flat black, it's just, you know, the flat colors really absorb water or absorb anything really well. Let's get this out of here. And see, she slides and she wrinkles up real good on here now. So let's get her ready to come off of here. So move this up and kind of hold it down on here while I slide it off. So there we go. All right. Now, all the adjustment that's required to get this to sit proper. Okay, wet fingers. Decal looks like it did want to rip a little bit, but that's okay. Want to line up the decal with our wheel well. And we do have this wanting to go in a direction it's not supposed to. Let's do this. So I've got it pretty much lined up right around the wheel well here and flat there. So we do have a little bit of wrinkling going on as it comes up, tries to come up over the bend. So that's where Q-tip to try and get some of the moisture out from underneath. Smoothing this out. Make it flat, as flat as we can. Getting the air bubbles out. Okay, that's good. So now I'm going to use my Mark Fit Super Strong on it. If I can open it up. There we go. And do that. That's going to help the decal to settle down. And in theory, we'll even take out the wrinkles that are on the top here. At least in theory. A lot of times I find it does do that. So we're going to let that sit. Let that do its job. So what happens, the Mark Fit Super Strong, it kind of, in a way, it kind of eats at the decal. It actually causes it to shrink a little bit. The decal is going to appear super wrinkly for a time, and then it's going to settle down nice and flat. Sometimes it actually takes 2 or even 3 applications of the Mark Fit to accomplish what you need it to do to get that decal to just lay flat. But I find it works really well, and I've had good results with it. The problem with it is it takes time. You have to just let it sit and let it do its thing. If you wait 5 minutes and then you try and move the decal will just rip. It just becomes so fragile. You just have to let it sit and let it do its thing. And that's what I have to do right now. I can work on the other side while it's doing that. So let's do that. Since I can't do anything, I don't want to put number 11 down over top of it because the water from number 11 is going to mix with the Mark Fit Super Strong and it's not going to work as well as it should. Also, I might accidentally move my current decal that's on there, and I definitely don't want to do that. So we can focus on the other side and do that. So let's get this other one off of here. Okay, so we're back, and this decal, this side, it actually broke apart on me in the water. As I picked this up, it went crack all on its own. So I don't know what's going on with that one, but I'll change the camera. You can see this one, the first one, is really wrinkled up now, and you can see. Okay, there we go. Look at that. That is what the Mark Fit Super Strong does. Okay, let's try to focus. There you go. See it a little bit there as it focuses a little bit, sometimes now and sometimes not. But that is what it does. That's what the Mark Fit Super Strong does. It you can see it's working, so it makes it really wrinkly and really ugly looking. And you can see it's actually pulled it back, and the decal has folded back on itself there in that spot. So I can touch that up with a little bit of black paint later on once that's all dry. But for now, we're going to work on this side. Get our decal put on here in two pieces, apparently. It's just another dip in the water to make sure. Why it broke on me, I do not know. But sometimes that's the way it goes. We'll be able to line it up though, so it's not the end of the world. And when it's all over, you won't really even notice that it's two decals. Let's get that laid down in there, down in there. This is garbage. I do like to try and not leave everything soaking wet on my desk, so now let's line these up. In a sense, the fact that they're separate now might make things a little bit easier. Get this in its spot. This side seems to be conforming nicely. It is and it isn't. There we go. So we're in good now. That we're lined up pretty good. I'm happy with the way that looks. Let's get my Q-tip and get some more water out of there. Any air bubbles or anything that I might have. There we go. Okay, time for the Mark Fit Super Strong on this side. Let's brush that on. There we go. And now we did that side and we wait. This side has lots of wrinkles in it still, which tells me even though it kind of feels dry to the touch, it's still in that point of settling down. And in fact, it's all right to, because it feels kind of dry, but it's not totally smooth, we can add more to just make sure it's going to do that job. And I might do this 2, 3, maybe even 4 times until I'm happy with the way the decal's looking. I believe on my interior door panels, on these guys in here, which you can't really tell very well now, can a little bit on this one, you can see there's still got that brown in there. I put those in. I probably put on 4 applications of the Mark Fit to get those door decals to be nice and smooth and stuck in there really nicely. Yeah. Unfortunately, this is part of the game. It's just one of those things that takes time, right? The ones that go over the fenders, they've got these little notches in them to obviously help as it curls down over top, that it doesn't just create a bunch of little wrinkles everywhere. And yeah, but I'm actually going to take my X-Acto knife and I'm going to cut those slots to make sure, just to make sure those actually are slots, because sometimes the little carrier film that they put on there seals up those little slots, and then they don't behave the way they're supposed to. But I think this is kind of where I need to leave it for now. Otherwise, you guys are just boringly watching me put decals on for the next, another half an hour or so, without me being able to assemble anything. So I guess this video was just a little bit of painting and masking and a little bit of decals. So I think that's just might be where I gotta leave it for today. I did get part of my tail light panel painted and ready. I put one light in there. There's our tail light. This is painted in from the back. This was clear. You can sort of see a little bit, and you can see a little bit of, if you catch it in the right light, you can almost see through it like you can in the real car. Tail lights, I've got them painted on the sprue here, the other set. They're just sitting there. That's just a little bit of black, a little bit of silver, a little bit of red. Really, that's all it is, painted on the inside. And we'll put that in later when it's time to install. I have the top of the engine, the intake assembly. There's our little Ferrari F50 emblem. This is gonna, when it's in the car, your view is gonna be like this, with a nice little F50 emblem, chrome emblem on the top of the intake manifold there. That's all done. That's gonna sit on top of the engine. Something like this once she's installed, and that would complete the engine assembly, except for our little cap that goes on there. Yeah, so it's almost there. Almost there. I think probably next time, we're going to finally get the engine put to the body. We've got a couple of more things to install on the front though, but yeah. Yeah. Anyway, and another thing I got. You guys are waiting for my General E model to continue. My paint arrived today, so I can get back on the General E path and get that continued on pretty soon. Now that I've got my paint, I can actually paint the body. So, yeah. Another thing I got, I'll show you guys. You guys who like chrome paint, I picked up this stuff. I got this stuff off of Etsy. They have an Etsy page. Real Chrome. Okay. Real, spelled incorrectly. It's REEL. Real Chrome. And of course, chrome is spelled KROME. You guys know Barbatos Rex, who does all these kinds of paint reviews, and he does all kinds of different chrome stuff. He really liked this stuff, and the fact that this stuff is durable, does not need a clear coat, and yet it comes out looking really nice. So yeah, I figured I'd try it out myself. Next time I need some chrome, I'm going to try this instead of my Fusion Firm. Try that instead. Next time I need to spray chrome, that's what I'm going to try. Usually, you know, I just need a little bit for like a shifter handle or something like that. And so I don't need to actually spray, but next time I need to spray chrome, I'm going to try that stuff. Anyway, guys, I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for joining me on this. Thank you that I need to put some more Mark Fit Super Strong on here. Our passenger side one looks almost done, but still needs another application. Flip this over. Our driver's side is kind of dried a little bit and still very wrinkly, so we'll add a little more. Yeah. And then I'll just do that a few more times. Yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks again for watching. Don't forget to hit the like button down below and subscribe if you haven't already. And I'd love to read your comments too. So thank you again, and see you all in the next one.